What is up, everybody? On our play for this week, we talk about the new PS5 Pro rumors. We get into all the big reveals from San Diego Comic-Con. Why is everyone so hyped to play from Softworks' next game in a body bag? Microsoft and the ABK merger is the story that does not end, and we got a little update for you on that. Finally, but not lastly, I beat ViewFinder, and I have some thoughts on it. All this and more on Season 7, Episode 28 of Press X Start Podcast. No, Press X Start Gamers Digest. Nailed it. Whew. Whew. Man, this has been a jam-packed day for me, so I'm coming in very hot. Not humid, but just hot. Look at my collar, jeez. I got roughed up by a child. All right. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, CJ, a.k.a. Sexy Bad Choices. I am joined by...
John MF Ross.
Ooh, what does the MF stand for?
I am the child that roughed DJ up.
Oh. You were supposed to keep that secret, Sean. You weren't supposed to tell nobody.
I don't know.
It's supposed to be between us three. Talking about three, who else is here?
It's your boy Jordan, a.k.a. JXBot, a.k.a. the last Commander Shepard.
Oh, eventually we'll get another one of those, right? And they're making.
I'm at that point to which I hope not. But I love it. I loved every second of it. But let's move on. It's fine.
You know what? Before we move on, I think you should look up in the Guinness Book of Records. What's the record for how many times Mass Effect has been played by a single person? Because you might be able to take that, and I think that'd be something you could put on your resume. I'm just saying.
Beautiful thing about Mass Effect is like playing that game from playing the original trilogy from beginning to end. It's literally the last 30 minutes, which is a letdown. It is so astounding. Literally the last 30 minutes. Man. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's an incredible experience.
How long does it take to get good?
Oh, I mean, from the beginning, dude. Like you're in there. Like you're in there. The atmosphere
the
and all that.
The minute you look at the disc.
Yeah, dude. Like when Mass Effect came out back in 2007, like there's nothing like that at that time. Nothing like that. Nothing except for KOTOR, but nothing like that at that time.
Well, speaking of time, it is time for the Press X and Start Gamers Digest podcast. That thing right there that I just said is a video podcast that condenses the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We are live on YouTube every Sunday at 3 p.m. I'm going to keep saying that. Eventually, we're going to hit that 3 p.m. mark. But look, life is wild, life is crazy, and life is kids. So all those things affect the time. Anyways, what's up, YouTube? Don't forget, you can support us by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell. If you are listening, that What's Up YouTube does not apply to you. But what you can do is review this. 5 or 4 stars, mainly 5. Do 5. By leaving us, no, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the 5 stars, make it a review, put it on Apple Podcasts or podcast service you are currently using. We greatly appreciate that. And if you want to join our conversations, you can, because that thing is starting to get so crazy, so much fun. You can do that by joining our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. You have to make a Discord account first before you jump in, of course. Anyways, that's that. That's what this is. That's where you should do after you watch this or before you watch this or while you're watching it. Just, do those things. All right. With that being said, let us jump into the gaming news. Number 1. All right. This comes from Key to Gaming. I don't know who this is by. I should, look. Okay, look, we're at the seat of our pants. So essentially, this reads PlayStation 5 Pro Project Trinity details and release date. I'm just gonna go ahead and skip a lot of this and just let you know what's happening. So the rumor is we're getting the PS5 Pro in November.
Really?
That's 2024, not this November. 2024. Hey man.
I was gonna leave that part off. Okay. So yes, as Jordan says, we're getting a PS4 Pro next year. So this in conjunction with the PlayStation handheld Project Q in conjunction with the Slim that's supposed to come out this year,
Mhm.
I feel like I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the Pro coming out next year. I think that's going to be enough time for us to kind of like sit and dwell and, maybe PS5 starts to have its defects come next year and we're like, oh, dang, we really need this Pro model. And then the rumor also states that dev kits are going to be handed out this year to devs. So they'll have,
Mhm.
a few months or so to like start porting their games over to the Pro console. All this is pretty cool. What's your guys' feelings on this?
I don't think we really need a PS5 Pro. And Microsoft said the Xbox Series X is their Pro, so
Mm-hmm.
I think they just need to optimize things more. We always see stuff looking bonkers towards the end of console
Yeah.
lifespans, and we don't even have any PS5 and Xbox Series X exclusive games yet. That much. We have a few, like 5 or 6
Mm-hmm.
exclusive
Mhm.
PS5 games that taking advantage of the hardware. Same with the
Yeah.
Xbox Series X. I don't see
I
I don't see
I
this as a need, but I will get it though. I will get it.
I don't need it, but I want it.
Right. Jordan, what's your feelings on this?
Well,
Because as the article
we're
says, Xbox Series
mm,
X is supposed to be Xbox's Pro console. What's your
yeah, I
thoughts?
mean, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, here's the thing. Like, we're about halfway through this console generation, and in reality, we still can't ignore how the pandemic kind of staggered things, the
Yeah.
rollout of these games. But at the same
Absolutely.
time, it's like, yeah, this is like around year 4, year 5 is when we would see the not necessarily better optimized, but the updated versions of each one of these consoles without a full generational leap, which we know occurs between about 8 years is what a console generation typically is. So,
Mm.
or like yeah, so like yeah, like 6 to 8 years. Um, I think that PlayStation is a hardware company, and they are doing incredibly well when it comes to moving the current product, like the current PlayStation 5. Like they're getting it out there. People are like not only is supply good, but demand is good too. My question is like, what's the market for the PS Pro? Because people are saying the PS Pro is supposed to be able to output games at 8K. My thing is like motherfuckers only have 8K televisions. 8K
Yeah.
televisions are still super expensive, and even on
Here's
the
the thing,
PS,
though, real quick though. Here's the thing. On the PS5 box, it
yeah,
says
there's an 8K.
8K.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, and it's
lie.
like,
It's
It's
like
not a lie. It's just that very few games take advantage of it.
okay, well that's there. Sure, yes, yes. The 8K has yet to be used on the PS5, though it was, I mean, it was like overtly marketed as a feature. Unlike
Mhm.
Xbox with the VRR type shit, and PlayStation with the like other features associated with the PS5. But with this PS5 Pro, what we've noticed this entire generation is we're still dealing with 4K 30 frames typically, and a even like with PlayStation, I think you had like 4 or 5 different visualization options for God of War. You had
Mhm.
like the checkerboard,
Mhm.
and you had the upscaled, and then you had the 30. Sorry, then you had the 40 FPS. So like the wonderful maniacs at Santa Monica and at Insomniac are able to get the full potential out of it. We're still not at the 4K 60. And if
Exactly.
this can do
Exactly.
it, then cool. But is it needed
Yeah.
right now? Let me see what the price is first.
Yeah.
That's
That's it.
I'm
Like
like 50-50 on. I'm 50-50.
Yeah.
yeah. That's where I'm at. Like I feel like if this Pro will actually get things to run 4K 60,
Mm-hmm.
fine. Like that is a legitimate upgrade from what the PS5 is right now. And I think, do we need that? No, but it's also those things of like, we are good where we are right now, but we don't know where we can be. Or what is it? From the Wonder Woman movie. Um
Which one? The
no,
Wonder Woman
Pascal.
84? God no.
No, what did he say? Things are good now, but it can be better.
Mm.
The villain
yeah.
from the Wonder Woman. Whatever.
Yeah.
If you watch the movie, yeah.
Oh,
Anyways,
Maximus, whatever. Yeah.
yeah, whatever he said. But yeah, that I bumbled that, but it's fine because you understand exactly what I'm saying, listener, viewer, you. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're good right now, but like, oh, could this Pro really be a thing? But I think that's also looking at it optimistically versus like the possibility of it just being like, oh, it's PS5 with just more space. Okay, cool. I guess that's fine for the people who haven't upgraded their hard drives.
I mean, if it comes with one of the, I don't want to say complaints, but yeah, like it's a reasonable complaint, but a more efficient way of upgrading the hard drive or expanding the hard drive is always something that I would think they would look into for next time around.
Yeah.
Because with the PS4, we're able to have a standard HD hard drive connected to it and play games off of it. Same thing with the original Xbox, but yeah, if the PS4 Pro 4K 60 and better expandable hard drive replacement, easier, then yeah, I can see that being an improvement. But once again, the price is a factor too. We don't know how much it's just going to cost. It'd be $600. Oh, what did they make $600? Like, yo, let's go back.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to fucking 2006, guys.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. So that's that. We'll see what happens. You know, again, November of next year is pretty far along the way. So something that's going to be coming a little bit sooner than that is this next story from The Verge. The Sony Project Q handheld is running Android in a leaked video. I put this on here for the Android heads. YouTube.
I got my S23 Ultra on deck. Hell yeah. People like my phone.
Unfortunately, Sony has sided with the green instead of the blue. No.
How the hell would they use iOS, my guy?
I don't know. Hey, that's not the point. Okay,
you can't
the
buy
point is
a Mac OS to operate on anything unless it's like cracked or whatever. They don't allow you to use it on other platforms.
Yeah, that's
Sean,
Mac's
fault. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just upset at the situation. Okay.
Be upset at your masters.
Sir, you mean my managers, okay?
Please, Ron DeSantis, please don't rewrite these books.
All right, so this article is from Wes Davis from The Verge, as I said before. So yes, it is the fact that the Project Q will be running Android. This really doesn't mean much. This is not going to affect anything. This is just the operating system that this handheld's going to use. Android usually, I think Android's actually pretty popular in a lot of like handheld devices. So that's also
because it's running Linux and it's very versatile.
Yes, Sean. Yes, Sean is correct.
Mac OS X is running Linux. My guy.
That's not the point, okay? The point is they chose Android over Apple.
Move to the next story, you sucker.
All right, the next story, as Sean politely asked me to move to. San Diego Comic-Con happened. It is over now. Is it over? Sure, it's over because we're doing this podcast and we're going to pretend it's done. And there has been a couple of really, really cool reveals that happened. So we're going to go through some of them. The first one is a Marvel Spider-Man 2 trailer drop. It's a story trailer. I am playing this right now. Sean is not watching this because he wants to go in blindly. So we'll talk about this very lightly. In this trailer, you see Harry Osborn, same from last game. There's not much new to this trailer. I mean, there's a lot of cool new footage, but in terms of like progressing the story, there's not really that much stuff that's like, oh, we didn't know that, or we didn't like assume that was going to be the case, which I think is fine. We do get to see Miles' new haircut, and I absolutely love it. Peter's face I'm still not okay with it. I just think that was a bad choice. Hopefully this game will give me enough view time to like get used to it. But honestly, when I first saw this trailer, I was like, who is Harry talking to? Like, who is this guy?
Yeah, whose fans is this? This isn't James.
Yeah.
No. Can I
go for it? Absolutely, go for it.
Yeah, no, not spoiling anything of it. You know, like you do see like,
Yes.
oh, they're back, and oh, there's that person. But I feel that this was more suited for the showcase than the
Absolutely.
game
Yes. Yes.
than
Yes. Yes.
the gameplay
Yes.
trailer.
Yes.
Um,
I totally
and
agree.
I because like, a lot of it was cinematics. A lot of it was cinematics. There was like a touch, a little smidge of transition into gameplay. Not too dissimilar to what we saw at the PlayStation showcase. Um, fucking Mary Jane was straight up enter Kristen Dunst. Just like I mean, I'm like just straight up enter Kristen Dunst, which is fine. But you know,
Hmm.
like just like you know, like even though it's supposed to be like what 9 months after, it's like 3 years after in terms of how older and more swole they look. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. Um, and yeah, like this at the beginning of this year, I was like, Spider-Man 2 is going to be like most likely top three, if not, depending on how things lay out, game of the year.
Hmm.
Um, Part of me is like, when I look at this game and look at what we've experienced so far, is this game going to break a 90? Because I like, there's always in terms of Metacritic, not Open Critic, but like
Yeah.
Metacritic.
I don't
Right.
see
Right.
why I wouldn't.
I mean, like I'm not like my here's my range because like the
Hmm.
last Spider-Man got a 87 and
Yeah.
Miles Morales got an 84.
Hmm.
I think this is gonna do better.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's gonna do two. I think the range of my range between 91 and 88 for this game. I
Okay.
think it's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of like high eights and a good amount of nines. Nothing
Yeah.
below 8, to be honest. But like
Yeah.
that's the way of averages. But to my point of this kind of goes back to our last conversation about PlayStation Pro. It's like, do we like is this finally going to be a next gen experience? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
how much more are they going to do compared to the first one, which is already a stellar game? Because in the
Yeah.
mindset of a developer, it's like we already made the best cake. Why fuck up the recipe? Except
Yeah.
times twoing everything. You have two Spider-Men. The area is bigger.
Yeah.
You probably have twice the amount of characters, and like that's why like after watching this I'm like, yeah, I was gonna get this game back in fucking February. Like I'm not like, oh, I need it now. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have like, and like we just have so many bangers to DJ's point. We have so many bangers this year. Nintendo had a banger. PlayStation had a banger. Xbox has a potential banger. We'll see. But when I looked at Starfield Direct, I'm like, oh, this is like another worldly type thing. Spider-Man, I'm
Right.
gonna have fun playing, but it's like I'm still putting it at between an 88 and a 90 at most.
Yeah. I mean, I totally understand that because I look at this trailer and it's like it's one of those things where like Sean said like I'm already gonna get this game. I don't need this trailer. And I think they're still having to play with the fact that like they're still holding some secrets.
Yeah.
So the
Mm-hmm.
stuff we're seeing looks good, but it's not going to necessarily be the like, oh my god, that just happened. Like what? Like, and I appreciate that. Like I also hope
Mm-hmm.
that like that is the fact and they are actually hiding secrets and like this is just not like we're not taking this is not like the game face value and like this is just stuff that's going to happen and that's it.
Spider-Man 2018 did that greatly with Norman Osborn. Spoiler alert.
Hmm.
But like, I
Hmm.
mean, you knew that was him. Like when you played the game, like, oh, that's fucking, that's Doctor Octopus. But like in
Yeah.
the trailer and the E3 before it came out, remember like they were fighting. It was the raft mission, and like
Yes.
fucking Peter Parker was getting shit kicked out of him. Like everyone, nothing but feet. And
Yes.
then like then it panned over. It was like and like and that was fucking stadium, dude. I looking at that trailer again. Go watch that trailer again. That was a fucking stinger, bro. In the middle of E3
Yeah.
2018, that was a
You know.
fucking stinger.
Yeah, totally agree though. Yeah, so like it's one of those things where like yeah, this trailer looks great. Like of course, people who are excited to play this game will continue to be excited. Like there's not going to be anything in terms of the score. I do think that there's a possibility of it landing like high 80s, like 88 or something like that. But I firmly believe that Insomniac is looking at this like, nah, this has to be our like masterpiece.
Oh
Like
yeah,
Spider-Man 1 was like, we took the gamble, we knocked out the park, everyone loved it. The Miles Morales was great. We're playing more with I don't say like playing more with story, but like we're doing a little bit different stuff that was great. Like we need to use those lessons learned and really make this game like the icing on the cake. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not like, there's any type of 90s curse of PlayStation. Didn't God of War get like a 94? Ragnarok get like 94 or something Metacritic? It was high. So it's
Yeah,
not
I
like
think it started at
this-
95 and dropped to 94.
Yeah, so like it's not outside of their nature to just, like Insomniac,
Yeah.
like they're one of the 10 like they're one of the best developers out there, straight up.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing is a Mortal Kombat 1 trailer. This is called Umgadi. My Mortal Kombat lore is very, 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 very shallow. So I don't know what this is other than that being like a cool term for Black people to say to each other. Because like I think that.
What up, my Umgadi?
Anyways. Yeah, exactly. See? It
Stay
flows off
woke,
the
my
tongue.
own Gotti.
All right, so this is the trailer. So this is showing the new character you can play with. Was it
Lit.
Lei Mei?
Oh, okay.
Again, my hold on. I can... Come on, you're not going to show the name of the person.
I wonder if they're trying to go the kind of Street Fighter 6 route where it just kind of flows into a fighting match kind of naturally.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, wasn't that the Mortal Kombat? Didn't they first do that with 11 or 10? 11,
I mean, it's possible they did. Well, let's see.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
Like the going from story to like actual story to like a fight scene.
Yeah.
They did it
right?
in Injustice too. Like they did it in the Injustice games. It was like fighting and then boom. Like fuck you, Superman. Oh yeah, this is what we found out this week was that J.K. Simmons will be voicing Omni-Man. And
that's the next thing we're gonna talk about.
Oh my bad. Are you talking about?
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. So actually that works out. So there's going to be DLC for this, as we all know. And in that DLC, we're going to have Peacemaker, Homelander, Quan Chi, and as Jordan says, Omni-Man, and a lot more. So that's really cool. Like, of course, they're doing that because that's what they have been doing. And I think we've seen the Homelander and Omni-Man thing show up like a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month or so.
It was leaked.
Yeah,
it was leaked.
So we knew that was happening. Yeah, but yeah, in terms of this trailer, like when I got Street Fighter 6, I was like, oh, this is cool. Let me try. I played that game for maybe like a week or so, and I was like, okay, I'm kind of like I'm not going to like the actual story itself. Yeah, like I mean, I got beat online. It was like, all right, cool. Like I get that.
You don't have
the
time
story
basically
itself,
to dedicate to get to
exactly.
that have fun online. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, and like I kind of looked at Mortal Kombat, was like, man, I don't know if I want to do that again. Like I don't know if I want to spend $7 just play it for a week or so.
Yeah,
and yeah, and like I know even less of Mortal Kombat.
They're gonna release an ultimate version like a year later with all the characters. So
that too.
Why would you?
You might as well wait to that.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I think what they're doing, what they're showing, this is so there's so much story elements in this. It's just like, oh, you can actually play it for the story and just put it down and be like, yeah, this is cool. Like, I got all that I needed out of it. Yeah. So
I mean, they've always had more of a story than a Street Fighter.
Street Fighter, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, like they turned their video game Injustice to one of the most popular comic book series. Like it started like Injustice became an incredibly popular universe in DC. So like they know how to do fighting game stories. You're
right. I just the creativity with the gore in this game is just also just insane. Like her name is Lei Mei. Yeah, she just her fatality was she light the intestines on fire and it like crackles all the way through, and then she like backflip kicks the head up in the air and it just pops like a firework. Like
fun stuff.
Man, just crazy. So yeah, that's Mortal Kombat. For me, it's harder to talk about this trailer because I just know a lot less about this this world. But like again, it does look really, really good, and I think this is going to be this year for fighters is going to be really, really, really interesting in terms of like, man, it's going to be Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat.
At least we're going to have more than one game in the
Yeah.
category for Game Awards this year.
Right.
I wonder with the confirmation that J.K. Simmons is going to be Omni-Man. I wonder if they're going to have John Cena as Peacemaker. Because come on, if you get J.K. Simmons, you get John Cena and also Anthony Stark as Homelander.
That's a really good point, actually.
Because I mean, if you get, I mean, I'm not trying to say like like either one of them super high. I mean, J.K. Simmons is widely accomplished actor. But yeah, like I mean, like that's I mean, the Peacekeeper is literally modeled off of John Cena. Like they better have his fucking voice.
Yeah.
And
It'd be
hopefully
weird if they don't go with John Cena, but they use like his likeness. So
yeah, right.
yeah.
But
right.
the cool thing about Mortal Kombat is like the ending story to each one of these characters is what a lot of people play it for. Because like when you do beat the game, like it's like most fighters, that their ending scene. I just wonder what the ending scene for like Omni-Man is like. This blow up the world or something. Like you see, no, like does use teleporter and go to fucking
the other place.
What's that?
I want to see his ending sequence.
The nether realm or outer realm.
Think. Think Sub-Zero. Think.
We are
that would
above
be
them.
so awesome. That'd be so dope. All right. The next thing is not a trailer, but it's
wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Can I say one more thing? One of Iron Man's fatalities holds your friend of a train. Come on.
All right. So yeah, this next thing is it's not trailer, but it is more details on Star Wars Outlaws. So you can work for or even betray Jabba the Hutt in Star Wars Outlaws. This comes from IGN. Now let me tell you who actually wrote this beautiful story. Rebecca Valentine, of course. So as the title said, there was a interview. Oh my God, that's in my ear. There was an interview with some of the devs from Star Wars Outlaws, and they revealed that yes, you can work for Jabba the Hutt, and yes, you can betray him. Jordan, how do you feel about this?
Oh, even from the trailer, we knew this taking place between I think maybe Empire, or at least like A New Hope and Empire. I got to verify that, but this is like the height of the Empire. But during this time, you had a whole bunch of like gangs running around, like just like like the underworld is where a lot of Disney's putting their Star Wars capital right now. And when it comes to these Ubisoft games, like there are like I remember them being some choice in Assassin's Creed, but not substantive enough for it to change the story. I highly doubt. I still believe this is going to be a fairly linear story. I think whenever you do quote unquote betray the Hutts, because not just Jabba, like it's the Hutts.
Yeah.
You don't betray the Hutts. They'll hunt you at the end of time. They'll kill you. Good luck. But I don't know how I care to get out of that. But I'd imagine it being scripted. But yeah, we saw the Pike Syndicate, Black Sun, Crimson Dawn. So,
or if it could be a thing where like you betray him, but it still leads into kind of like the same like end result if you betray him or not betray him. Like, oh, maybe he just gets shot or something by someone.
Yeah, I think this outlaw story is going to introduce this one character that a lot of people have been asking for a long period of time, called Dr. Farah, who was basically one of Darth Vader's like regular ass person confidants, like super basic but very smart archaeologist hunting for Sith shit. And I would like for them to incorporate. Hopefully you get to run into her, because like this is around the time when she's most active. You know, but we'll see. I mean, like, well, like we're talking about 10 planets here, maybe like something akin to Fallen Order and Survivor. Just hop in between them, run around, collect shit, shoot shit, repeat. Ubisoft,
right?
Fucking Star Wars. Like I'm gonna get.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, like the showing of it before looked really, really good. Like it also interests me as well, and like I think right now this is to be announced for 2024, so there's not really an official due date or release date or whatever. But like, I think where I left off with Jedi Survivor, I think this. To me, this looks and feels like a refreshing kind of change of pace that I'm down for. So yeah, I'm definitely like looking out for this when this comes out. So yeah. All All right, so that's pretty much it. I mean, like, there's also Invincible. There's a lot of stuff that came from San Diego Comic Con, but like I just kind of relegated to just game stuff, and that was pretty much it. So that was it. That was that from San Diego Comic Con. So thank you everyone who did that. We appreciate you basically Rebecca Valentine for creating the stories for me to pull from to regurgitate to our audience. So speaking of regurgitating, I'm gonna regurgitate. Jesus, I just completely regurgitated. You know what? Hey, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. There was a segue, but it just completely just died in itself. If you're listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or the podcast services you are currently tuned in on. If you would like to join our conversation and teach me how to say the word regurgitate, I greatly appreciate that. You can do that by joining our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. Yes, do that. All right. Now, DJ, back to the gaming news. Thanks, DJ. All right. The next thing, number 4. Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, has released a trailer. And everyone is so hyped to be playing these mechs from a body bag. Let's see. Did you guys see the trailer? Did you guys watch this thing?
I watched
I've
it.
seen parts of it, yeah.
Okay.
It moved me.
It did? Did? Okay.
Close
Like
the
on the
browser
operating table
window.
and all
'Cause
that.
John, how dare you? What'd you say,
I
Jordan?
mean, it looks cool, like
Yeah.
it's, like, okay, like other Armored Core games, like there's soft points to just stick your gun in and let loose, not trying to say it's gonna happen in action in the game, but like, yeah, in terms of the scale and just all of this, because like this does remind me of like 40K, like this reminds in terms of so far into the future, shit looks magic. Like so far into the future, you just cannot comprehend what the fuck is going on with these giant machines, these giant guns. So that tickles my fancy, and I am interested in this game.
I'm always interested. Like I'm just so happy to be in a time where I can watch like a HD version of Armored Core, like how I envisioned back in PlayStation 2 days of like, oh, this is what this looks like, and it didn't look like this at all. Like not even remotely close. Like there was like maybe 25 like vertexes for a Armored Core. Anyways, yeah, so I'm always like interested to see like, oh, what's the common person's take on what they've seen in this. So me with my limited Armored Core wisdom, what we witness here is the prequel events that leads up to you playing as the main character. So a quick little backstory. With Armored Core, you have pilots, normal pilots who are human beings that walk around, and then you have pilots who have, for some reason or another, have been made human plus. So the human plus pilots, if you think Gundam, you think the cyber new type, the people who have been modified to be like the new type pilots, the better pilots. That's the same thing for new type, but in this you see that the main character or the pilot 619 or whatever, he sacrificed himself to complete the mission, and it looks like the people who paid him or whatever recovered his AC, recovered his body, and was like, nah bro, you ain't done. So they essentially resurrected him and made him a human plus, and now he's like connected to the Armored Core.
Resurrection.
So what?
No, WWF Resurrection.
Yeah. So I was kind of monitoring the internet to see like what people's like impressions on this, and everyone was just excited to play this game from a body bag, and I thought that was hilarious. But the other thing is like, oh, everyone's like, oh, this feels very Souls, like this is gonna be the cool like Souls like dark experience. I'm like, bro, this was in Armored Core from the jump. Like this is the thing. The human plus suits are what you fought as the enemies, because they were like going berserk, because they were just like, whatever, we're just gonna kill everything because I feel pain. So yeah, so that's pretty much what you see in this trailer. I am just so excited for this. I am interested what happens with this at the end of the year in terms of what category can possibly be in for game, not even game of the year, but like, what categories it can
Well,
possibly
I
be
mean,
nominated
I
for.
doubt it's going to be up that high, but tell us
Yeah,
how
I
excited
don't.
you are for it. When are you going to pre-order it?
You should be surprised, Sean. Cause guess what? I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I'm gonna pre-order it very soon, though.
I mean, like,
I'm
no,
gonna
but like,
pre-order
no,
it.
that's totally fine. Like, dude, we live in a digital era, brother.
I
Like
know.
pre-ordering is like,
Yeah.
DJ has a thing about pre-ordering stuff. He'll pre-order it like 10 minutes before midnight. So I'm just curious.
Hey, look. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I get my high off of pre-ordering at the very last minute. You know what I
Gadget,
mean?
video games. Next story, please.
What time is it? It's 11:58. Let me pre-order this bad boy right now. Let's see what happens. All right.
I'd hate for your
The
child to walk
next,
in on you like that. Just
right? But no,
pre-order.
you're not
All
supposed
right.
to see me like this.
Anyway.
not like this, not like this.
All right. The next story is a Microsoft rock block. First up, Jordan, you can fill me in on this. So Xbox Live Gold
Fuck you.
is ending. Jordan, how does this affect you, like an emotional standpoint?
No, I've gone on record many times to say that Gold was like a atrocious program compared to PlayStation's basic program. Because yeah,
Mhm.
PS Plus and Gold nominally before Game Pass and before the
Yeah.
PlayStation Silver and all that. Wait, what was it? PlayStation Platinum?
They got
Essentials,
Plus and
Essentials
Premium.
Plus and Premium. Sorry,
Mhm.
Essentials
had it.
Extra and Premium.
Yeah, like before those rollouts, right? Like it was
Mhm.
Plus and you had Gold, and they both
Mm.
achieved the same goals, right? You had a couple games every month,
Yeah.
and both were a fucked up monetary system that both companies, Xbox did it first, unfortunately, used to monetize internet connections. It's a toll booth, like it's a toll, which is something that I appreciate for the PS3. You didn't need to have internet. So you did not need to pay for PlayStation Online until PS Plus became a thing. But what this does is goals removed for a good amount of 3 or 4 years now, probably since Game Pass came to being. Gold has been incredibly lackluster. The games have been tiring and this like not even AA games, just A games, just like really shitty,
Yikes.
boring ass games, old and boring games
Mhm.
would appear on that service or be dumped and no one would care. And it wasn't any mystery to Microsoft. They knew the sentiment with the community with that. They just wanted to get away with it. Ideally, the community wanted the goal to be thrown out and not have online cost anything, right? Like that was kind of
Yeah.
like the thing, or online be associated with Game Pass, like Game Pass you get online with Game Pass, like that'll be fine. But what they decided to do is remove Gold, and now we have Core. And what Core does is what PlayStation kind of did first with the PlayStation Collection, right?
Essentials. Yeah.
Mhm.
So like that is Core. Core has 25 of the most popular, well, like not the most popular, but fairly high ranking
Mhm.
Xbox and also third party games. Like as an example, Among Us and Doom Eternal, Fallout 4, Psychonauts 2, and Elder Scrolls Online and Human
Okay.
to Fall Fat, Ori, Gears. Those is what you get with the core, but now they've kind of did a little bit of a funky thing when it came to Game Pass on console. Now Game Pass on console does not come with internet, which is interesting. This is a subliminal push for you to buy Ultimate now. So,
I
like,
did not realize this.
yeah,
Whoa.
it's sneaky.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at
It's
that. That is,
sneaky. Yeah, like you don't get
and you wonder why
internet.
I got a bone to pick with them.
Uh-huh.
That's trash.
But yeah, so the console, like as I said, it should have just gone straight to like it should have just been Game Pass console with internet. But that's not what they did here.
Yeah.
Like like Gold's been transformed away from like 2 games a month to just like a set 25, which will change from time to time, but
Yeah.
online. Game Pass console, you get all the Game Pass games plus deals and day one games like Starfield, but no internet. PC, you don't need internet because it's PC. PC don't pay for internet. Like you're already paying for internet, which as it should be, duh. The same thing in EA Play and stuff like that. But in Ultimate, you get all of it. You get PC, console, core, cloud, and EA Play membership for free, and online multiplayer. So like, there's really no even so, there's really not that much of a point for core either. Like I don't like this. This is just a push to get people into Game Pass Ultimate.
So yeah, like looking at this, like core would be like your introduction to Xbox, and then like
with online.
And then after you play, I don't know,
Minecraft
5 of those games is what on Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, no. I said there's Minecraft on this little core
Minecraft,
service thing because I mean you could get a child an Xbox Series S and they could play Minecraft or
that's
whatever the kids play nowadays, Roblox. I don't know.
But this is a weird like kind of like moving around at the blocks. Like I didn't even realize the whole the online multiplayer stuff. Like that is an interesting move.
Yeah, no, it's a move to get people to get Ultimate now. I mean, like as I just said, the ideal situation was for Gold to just go away and have like Game Pass. It used to be called Game Pass console to just have internet. Like no more Gold, just no more Gold. But they still wanted to have that little tier at the bottom there. Excuse me. Like because if you want to have EA Play, which gives all the Battlefields, all the Maddens, all the FIFAs are now FC, Jedi Survivor. I'd imagine Jedi Survivor being EA Play by the fall. Like all those games, you need to get Ultimate. You can't get that in Game Pass console. So yeah, just get Ultimate.
Interesting.
Again, okay. Like now, I mean, core is a slight step up, but it's still because I think the multiplayer component does make it a little bit stinky, in my opinion. It does make it stinky.
Yeah. Okay, well, the next story is from The Verge. Microsoft and Activision Blizzard extend merger agreement to October 18th, to be specific. This comes from Tom Warren. So yes, this story of the two lovebirds that want to fall in love and get married and have children exclusively on Game Pass is being is being tormented by the evil people of FTC.
No, CMA. The CMA.
CMA. There you go. I don't know what
more is more or less handled. More so handled than anything else.
They're pretty much like stopping. But yes, the CMA wants to investigate more into this deal after Microsoft has sent them a updated proposal for the whole deal.
Yeah.
So there's not really much here other than the fact that the deal due date now is October 18th. And a lot of people are saying like this is just going to be done. Like it's going to be done before October.
Yeah, but the majority of the sentiment is around Gamescom, to be honest. Because of the timeline that's being presented here. They're saying like near the end of August is where everything. Because like Microsoft is just really, really trying to play nice right now because they know that they do intend to have more acquisitions down the line. I do have a quick thing about what I think their strategy is going forward based on what we're seeing. Bethesda, what happened there? Ghostwire Tokyo, Deathloop, Starfield potentially would have been exclusive to PlayStation. Xbox just went in and took it. With Activision Call of Duty, there's many, there's a big cost sharing not controversy, but issue between Activision and Microsoft that was influenced by PlayStation, and also the various deals and stuff. So Activision. People are saying now this might be a long shot, and then maybe this is why they're being so deliberate about being as nice and deliberate and calm, and not just closing over motherfuckers and overthrowing governments.
Oh shit!
people are whispering Take-Two. People are thinking Take-Two is objectively is cheaper. It is. I mean, surprisingly, as big as Grand Theft Auto is, Activision is more expensive than Take-Two.
Oh yeah,
People,
for sure.
people are saying that Take-Two might be the next.
Would they want to be purchased though? And
yeah, that is the question. That, but like, remember, because
So-
what Microsoft had to do was pay like way more than their stock price was to get them to sign on.
Yeah. So I think so. I don't have the story up, so I'm just kind of going from memory. But Biden is introducing a bill about acquisitions and mergers, and like essentially trying to clamp down on mergers happening. So I feel like that would probably be much harder to get past with them just purchasing Activision. So like if they were to get
the bill will need to pass Congress, which is currently
yes, for sure.
Republican, and like they
very,
are
very
more
difficult.
conservative. But I mean, like, don't worry that there is an anti-tech sentiment in Washington right now. So like that could be easily, there's not too many cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs up in there, Or the Republicans are like,
I could see like if the Activision deal failed, them going to Take-Two, like that would make sense to me. I think I would be surprised, but not shocked if Microsoft was like, all right, yeah, okay, now we got Activision. Hey, what's up, Take-Two? And like they actually like pushed and try to get it. Like I would be like, oh, okay, interesting, but like
once again, only because Grand Theft Auto was best played on PlayStation for a good amount of time. Every month you get $1 million, like it was the advertising deal. So like Microsoft is like following the cast, if not Square Enix possibly too, like following the cast of like we're trying to get back market share through aggressive means, of course, but they're following the wake of Sony and their success during the 8th generation.
Yeah.
Like despite
so we'll see what happens there. I think that's actually, I didn't think about Take-Two because I just feel like they're probably just safe with their Grand Theft Auto, and plus Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna come out hopefully next year at some point. So but yeah, we'll see.
If they acquired Take-Two and made GTA 6 exclusive, there's gonna be blood in the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think before we jump, I think thinking on that, I feel like GTA is such a mega franchise that they'll probably just keep that multi-platform too, and just
probably
do the same. Like, oh yeah, it's on Game Pass if you want to, not have to spend the initial $70.
Multi-plat and make it crossplay. I think Microsoft would want to make it crossplay too, because more users. Like that's Microsoft's philosophy. More users, please. More users everywhere. We don't care.
Right.
Play our fucking games in your goddamn refrigerator, please. Just play our shit. Buy Game Pass now. Now.
If it gets you on Game Pass, then it's a win for them.
It's win.
All right. The next thing is from PlayStationLifestyles.net. This is a little quickie. The title's not loading. Oh no. I got the okay, never mind. Select PS Plus subscribers offered early access to the Gran Turismo movie. This is from Zarmena Khan. Sure, we'll go with that. Yeah. So this is basically what the title says. Have y'all gotten invited to this Gran Turismo movie?
No. They're just allowing people to see it a few days early, but you gotta pay still. So
I'll wait for it to be on.
I missed that part. How dare they?
I'll wait for it to be on Movies Everywhere. The little buy the Movies Everywhere app thing. I'll just buy it there. Which is pretty dope. It's literally Movies Everywhere. Like that's like the people don't say the hype of Movies Everywhere. Like you just log in and your movies is accessible anywhere. So
interesting.
Yeah. You know about that? Movies Everywhere? Yeah, it's like it's all right.
But yeah,
I'll probably buy it there.
You don't get a discount on the tickets. They're not free. It's basically early access to buy a ticket to see it 3 days early.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
and it's in limited
is
theaters, of course. So, yeah.
okay. That's something. All right. Well,
It's
that's
all
sad.
right.
If you want to go see that movie early, you can go figure this out because I'm not. I'm just not going to do that.
It's called Movies Anywhere. It's by a movie.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
The next thing, you know what? This is for me. I'm gonna say this is just for me. So there was an announcement made on Gundam Evolution's website that they will be ending their service, unfortunately.
I mean,
And
do you even care? You weren't even playing this.
no, I don't care because I wasn't playing it. But I part of me is like, man, that sucks because the whole sentiment of like, you know, what a tide rises all ships or whatever. Like, you know,
Mhm.
this in a way would also help Gundam Battle Operations 2 in a way. But like, no, I mean, I will say I can
Ain't
understand why
nobody
this is
looking
shut
at this
down.
announcement and saying, "Oh, I guess I'll go play GBO too."
Hey, not initially, but if someone is in a Facebook group that says like, "Oh, I can't believe this," and then someone else like, "Hey, you should try GBO too," guess what happens, John? I'm that someone.
I
It's
think
me.
I'll get more people to watch One
Me.
Piece before you'll get more people to play GBO too, my guy.
I like that competition.
with
Um,
with games like this, when they do die, they just show up in like free, like abandonware, so you can still kind of play it. I'd imagine a little.
well, yeah. So what they're doing is basically offering all of their like premium currency to be available in game, so people who are playing can just kind of get everything they want out of the game before it shuts down.
That's the best time to play
Um,
then.
yeah, it pretty much like if you're
It'd
interested
be
in that, yeah.
crazy
So
if
they're
that was the resurgence they needed to keep the service open. Is like, you know what?
wait, what?
Damn.
So yeah, it will be ending November 29th, 2023, the day after my birthday. That's a shame.
It
The side
tracks. That
story,
tracks.
the side story I put on here, just the roast Salt Moon. And I apologize, viewers, if you are a Gundam Evo fan / super fan. Again, I apologize. It's
I
just
highly
me
doubt
and
we have
my
any of those listening. Matter of fact, y'all hit us on Discord or our Instagram and please prove me wrong. I'm curious.
yes, let us know, please. But yeah, Gundam Battle Operations 2 is celebrating their 5th anniversary come next week, Wednesday, because that game is just still banging. And like when I think about it, with the amount of like Gundams and like content there is, like Gundam GBO2 is just zoomed in on the Universal Century. So that's just like a small piece of like the bigger thing of Gundam. And in that game, there is at this point over 300 mobile suits you can play with. Like because of that staggering number, like the gotcha system kind of works the best in that like they can still keep making these mobile suits based off of the income they're getting from the people who are rolling on the gotcha to get these mobile suits, so on and so forth. So, and a weird thing is like maybe that formula actually works for this specific genre of game versus like doing it any other way where it's like, oh, it's DLC packs every like month or so. And I think that's what no. Gundam Evo wasn't doing that. They were trying to do the same thing. But yeah, that's it's unfortunate, but yep, that's it. So the last story of this section of the podcast, this comes from PC Gamers Tyler Wild. End of an era. Overwatch 2 is coming to Steam, and more Blizzard games will follow. So essentially, if you don't know, Overwatch 2 was originally on Battle.net, and so the other Blizzard games because Battle.net was their PC launcher essentially. But things has changed. Overwatch 2 is not doing so great, and Blizzard needs more income or more revenue, so they're putting Overwatch 2 on Steam. So that's that. They'll also have crossplay with Battle.net, which is great. But
Interesting.
yeah, there's not really too much to be said here other than the fact that like right now Overwatch 2 is pretty much blinking. Like its health bar is pretty low and it is blinking.
You know what they say? All roads lead back to Gabe Newell. All roads, no
You're
matter
not
how
wrong.
far away you try to run from that man in his golden toilet,
Yep.
dude, like PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, you're next. Y'all think you're safe?
Right? Yeah, Mario and
You're
Steve.
next. Yeah, my,
But yeah,
just
like
watch.
it just makes so much sense to like have a game on Steam and not really have to worry about your launcher. Yeah, you got to pay Steam whatever royalties when, microtransactions are made, but like there's just a wider audience. So like you probably end up making more than you would on your own launcher, and evidence is that Blizzard is putting their Overwatch 2 on Steam. So they would have Overwatch 1 on Steam as well, but Overwatch 1 doesn't exist anymore. So it is just Overwatch 2 as the Overwatch game that's going to be moving over from Battle.net to Steam. So yeah, that is it for the gaming news. Oh, before we wrap this podcast up, I just want to do a quick little my impression / review on the puzzle game, the photography puzzle game called ViewFinder. So this game came out, I don't know, at this point last week, maybe a week before, depending on whenever you were listening or watching this. Viewfinder is a indie puzzle game where I should actually look up the trailer for this so I can talk and show, so you're not like trying to guess what I'm saying. But yeah, it is the indie game that was turning heads because you picked up a photo inside of the world and you like turned it and you pressed a button and like the building on the photo became a incline for you to walk on, and everyone's just like, "Oh my god, that's crazy! Like that's just so like innovative," and like that's exactly what you do in this game. And I think to that effect, it works very well. You gonna say something, John?
No, I was just gonna say you kind of explained it, but basically you would pick up like a Polaroid, and anything in that picture would be able to be interacted with, depending on how you put it down in the world, and you can
Yes.
rotate it, all that good stuff. But it could also mess up the world by causing gaps that you could fall through and stuff, depending on how you
Yes.
align the thing. But you can say there's a fence in front of you. You could post a, place the picture in front of it and walk through that fence, or make a ramp. You know,
Exactly.
different things like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah. So essentially, the puzzles you deal with involves usually how to get from point A to point B, or how to get around this barrier around you using the ability to pick up photos, often take pictures of photos, and use those as platforms to traverse to complete the puzzles.
It's basically a perspective puzzle game, and if you've ever played something like a Superliminal,
Yeah.
it's something
Yeah.
kind of like that.
Yeah. So I played and beat the game. It took me about 5.5, 6 hours. I think, like, overall, I think the puzzles and the ideas in the
Hmm.
puzzles are much better than the ideas and the the story essentially. Like I think the story was probably the weakest point of this game. It wasn't necessarily that it was like ham-fisted in. It's just like, oh well, we have to put a story to this, or else it's not going to
Yeah,
make any sense. The story makes sense, but it was one of those things where I was always trying to guess like what's going to happen next in terms of like, is there like a darker tone or darker like theme that's happening in the background? There is a point in the game, I guess minor spoilers to the people who happen or who want to play this game. There's a point in this game where you leave this area that you're traversing through and whatever, and you get to see like what's actually happening. And that to me was like, oh, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like we're gonna deal with more of that. Like, but you don't. Like you only enter that area once really. And then you go back into this world and you just kind of live in this world and you're like solving puzzles and like moving through different spaces. And
do you feel like
I
that was a
think,
wasted opportunity to not use that feature?
yeah, yeah. And like throughout this game, this is also a spoiler. Like you're talking to people, you're hearing people's stories, but you actually don't see any body. You don't see an actual body at all. And I think that was a wasted opportunity, because I think it would have been really powerful if you got to meet the person you've been talking to this entire time, and like even that could be like used as like a way to introduce a twist of some sort. I think there was a lot of opportunities for this game to really do more with the story, but it never really did anything, and it ended up being very much so straightforward, which could have been good if I didn't overthink things, but I think because I was overthinking things and like hoping things would happen, that also kind of tweaked my expectations and what I was given with the game. Um, if I were to rate this game, I would give it probably like a 7.5 out of 10. I think there was there was great moments of it. There was also moments that kind of dragged. Um, the end piece of this game
Yeah.
is bad. It's bad in that I'm gonna spoil a bit a part of it, because I think that is important to know. Of course, you're playing this game, you're solving puzzles. The end piece, you have to solve puzzles in 5 minutes,
Mm.
and I think putting on the timer does the game a disservice, because throughout the game you are experimenting, you're trying to do things, you're solving stuff, but you also have to go through that mental exercise of actually doing the stuff. So you're never really put on a timer, so you're just kind of like, okay, I think this will work, this doesn't work, let me rewind time. You can rewind time to undo your mistakes, but like when you're put on the timer and when you
Yeah.
rewind time, the timer doesn't like rewind itself either. It's just
Mm.
like, what is going on? And then like if you fail, if the time runs out, you have to do the whole gauntlet of puzzles over again. And like I thought it was going to be like, okay, well, there is like 5 chapters in this game, maybe it's 5 different puzzles. It was like 10 or so different puzzles that you had to do. And it got to the point where I was just like, this is just stupid now in terms of what you're making me do to finish this game. And like finishing that gauntlet and then getting the ending was like, nah, this is stupid. Like, this is not even worth it. And I
I got
think
you.
that's what hurts the most, because like you are having this like pseudo relaxing experience playing this game, and then they present you with this twist on the challenges you've been doing, and it's just like, I kind of understand why they did this, but it just doesn't feel like it didn't feel good. It just felt like, all right, guys, you're just kind of doing this to like put some kind of like tense feelings onto like what you're doing to essentially like finish this game. And I just didn't like it. So that's it. That's me. If you like puzzle games, definitely try this. I think it's like $25 or something. It's not like a $70 game, which makes sense. And like that also helps with the experience, because you're not paying like a lot of money for this. So yeah, that's Viewfinder. Sean, you actually played a little bit of it. You can go back to it?
It was okay. I played the demo. I got
Oh, you
kind of
played
sick
it.
due to all the weird perspective stuff. It kind
Yeah.
of had the same effect on me as when I played Gex. If anybody remembers that game back on the
Mm.
PS1, just some weird 3D stuff going on, and I don't know what's wrong with me. Past
Nothing's
that, I'm
wrong
gonna
with
put
you,
on.
Sean. You're
Huh?
great. You're great. Nothing's wrong with you.
I'm gonna put on my old man grilling slides and pick up my cane and say that I played Twisted Metal 1 and 2 since that
Hey.
was put on the PlayStation Classics on PS Plus, and I will say I platinum the first one, and I remember a time when those were cutting edge graphics, and
Whoa.
I really don't get how people see games now that are released on PS4 and PS5 and Xbox Series and be like, "Oh, these graphics are trash." Like,
Yeah,
what?
man. I mean,
Nah,
it's just a privilege thing. That's all it
it's
is. I get it.
relative. It's all relative.
Yeah,
I get it.
exactly. Yeah.
But the only thing that's gonna stop me from playing a game is just trash ass gameplay. Um, once again, keeping my old man hat on. I played my 14-year-old nephew in Street Fighter 6, and he just swore he could beat me. And like,
Oh.
I've been playing this since
Oh.
long before you were born, and he just
Learn these kids.
couldn't
Yeah.
understand how he's getting served up left and right. I think he
Oh,
won
man.
one game finally when I was playing with like an unfamiliar character, and he's using the modern, controls, of course.
Mm-hmm. Dang,
These
that's funny.
these kids, I'm gonna shake my fist. And then on a weirder note, I played this other game called Snow Runner, where you're
We're
a
aware. We're
trucker.
aware of snow runners. Yeah.
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 You start out with an old Chevy C 1500 or something like that, stuck in the mud, and
Mm-hmm.
you gotta turn on your all-wheel drive and put it into
Yep.
low gear and get out. You played it?
No, I know of this game.
Oh.
Jeff Grubb from Game S, he loves this. He talks about this game all the time.
Yeah. I got stuck between a rock with my big truck, and I couldn't
In a
winch
hard place.
myself out, so I stopped playing it. But I could see how that would be a relaxing game.
Yeah.
I may go back to it. I may go back to it. We'll see.
I just might.
Maybe.
All right. Well, that's pretty much us. That's this podcast. We thank you for being a part of this and listening and watching if you're watching. Just thank you. And again, if you're watching, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and the notification bell. Thank you for doing
He'll
that.
beat
I
us
can sense it.
otherwise.
Oh, geez. Yeah, don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. If you are listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or podcast services you are currently tuned in on. Your reviews are important to us. I'm going to check them right now to make sure you're reviewing. Do it. I'm watching you. Thank you. All right. So as I said, this has been an episode of Press X Start Gamers Digest. We hope you enjoy this content. We hope you watch some of our old videos. Watch our shorts, like and share them with your friends, because that has been really beneficial to the channel.
Our YouTube shorts, to be specific.
Nah, I said what I said. Watch both. One's fast and one's great to watch. You decide. All right. Yeah, man. I don't know. Just be you, play games, wash your hands, and just have a great day.